Hi everyone, it's Agnieszka from 5 Minute Language. Welcome to my channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already and give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So recently I made a video about how to learn a foreign language in 6 months, and that was quite popular, so I thought I would make a follow-up video in which I'm going to talk to you about how long it takes to get fluent in a foreign language. So in my previous video, which I'm going to link to in the description box, so make sure you check it out, I talk about how to kind of get to a conversational level in a language in 6 months. But in this video, I'm going to be talking about getting to fluency. So getting to the point where you can call yourself not just an advanced learner, but somebody who is actually fluent in the language. So whatever I'm going to say in this video, there's definitely going to be people in the comments saying, I have been learning X language for 5 years and I'm still at the pre-intermediate level, or I'm advanced but I'm definitely not fluent and I've been learning for 10 years. And I do realize that that's gonna be some people's feelings, but I just want to emphasize that everybody is different, everybody has a different style. If you look at the kind of famous polyglots, for example, Benny Lewis can speak a number of languages, but not everybody can do that because people have different situations, different circumstances, different learning styles. And somebody who can travel, for example, to many different countries or whose job is related to language learning has more opportunities perhaps to learn a language than somebody who is working a full-time job, has got a couple of children and not very much time for language learning. So everyone's situation is different. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. So I'm not going to give you a straightforward answer in this video. I'm going to first take you through a couple of different scenarios just to kind of illustrate the points I'll be making in the video. So the first scenario is actually one of my subscribers called Sarah, and Sarah got in touch to ask me about learning Italian. She wants to learn Italian and she wants to know how long it's going to take her to learn Italian. She can already speak Spanish, so that's one piece of context that we need to know. And if she wants to learn Italian, we know that there's a lot of kind of lexical overlap between the two languages, so it's going to be easier for her to learn Italian than for somebody who doesn't already speak Spanish. And to get to fluency, it will take less time. So I would say in this situation, if she's already fluent in Spanish and she wants to learn Italian and she doesn't have any particular kind of responsibilities outside of her job, for example, then she can possibly do it in a year. She can possibly acquire enough vocabulary and enough grammar to be able to make progress very quickly and by the end of the year call herself fluent. But let's look at a different scenario. So in this scenario, there's a person called Paweł. Paweł is a Polish native speaker like myself, and Paweł wants to learn French, but he doesn't know any other foreign language. He doesn't know English, for example, which is a language that many people find useful to know when they learn French. But French is his first foreign language that he wants to learn. He's actually retired, so he can devote several hours every day to learn foreign languages because he has a lot of spare time and he doesn't really have any other particular responsibilities. So he's got a lot of free time every day. So in his case, he might be able to learn the language in a year, but because he hasn't learned a language before and he's learning a language that's very different to his native language, he might take a couple of years to learn it and get to fluency. So let's now take the third scenario, which is somebody called Milo. Milo is an English native speaker and he already speaks Spanish, so he does have some experience with learning foreign languages, but this time he wants to learn Japanese, which is obviously a very different language to Spanish and English. Milo is a university student, so he doesn't have a full-time job. He goes to classes and he does some homework for his university, but he does have a lot of spare time. The only thing is he's also got a 12-month-old daughter, so he is spending a lot of his free time looking after his daughter and spending time with her. So he doesn't have a lot of free time during the day. So it might take Milo maybe 3 years to become confident in Japanese, but Japanese is a relatively more difficult language to learn than Spanish for somebody who is an English native speaker, so he will probably take more than 3 years to become fluent in Japanese, and probably a couple more years after that. But you're probably here because you really want to know the facts. How long does it actually take, based on research, to learn a foreign language and to become fluent in a foreign language? So when you look at the research, there's different studies obviously, but I'm going to give you an example or something that has come up in many different pieces of research, which says that you would need at least 600 hours of study to learn a language that is similar to English, and it can take you up to 2,000 hours of study in a language that is very different linguistically and culturally from English. So you can see that there is a lot of variation between those different numbers, 600 hours versus 2,000 hours. So it will depend on the language, but it will also depend on your learning style, your capabilities, and also any kind of other languages that you can speak, including your native language and any foreign languages that you have experience of. So there's many different factors, but at least these two numbers kind of tell you a little bit about how much you would have to devote to learning. So these figures are actually about professional competency. They're not really about fluency as such. Fluency is a bit of a way off that, so you would probably need to add a little bit more hours. So if you want to get to that level, if you want to get to the C1 level in the European languages framework, you would probably have to look at maybe 1,000 hours of study, which is what the research suggests. So that's almost double the kind of minimum number that I've just given you. So it could be 1,000 hours for languages related closely to English, and then obviously significantly more for languages which are very different linguistically and culturally. So if you look at the most optimistic number, the 600 number, that takes you up to kind of professional competency rather than fluency. If you want to focus on that, then 600 hours, if you've got 1 hour every single day of the year, then it would take you about 2 years to reach that level in a language if you study every single day. In my opinion, that number is a little bit exaggerated. I think you can definitely squeeze a lot more language learning into those hours, or compress the learning. And obviously it's all about quality rather than quantity. So you could actually spend fewer hours but doing very impactful activities that would take you to your goal much more quickly. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it answered some of your questions, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Bye!